Pauline Father Mark Kreis wrote a book called The Horror of the Profanation of the Most Holy Eucharist, documenting a largely North American practice of disposing of the remaining precious blood after Holy Communion into the sacrarium. This practice is strictly prohibited and incurs an automatic penalty of excommunication according to canon law and Redemptionis Sacramentum. Where does this practice originate? Why might there be opposition to Father Kreis's efforts? Can you provide some insights on communicating under both species?
Well, firstly, this practice is a profanation of the Blessed Sacrament. We have to say this. It is horrible. We have to stop this, and we have to in these cases, to speak to the bishop, the ordinary. He has to prohibit this, and Rome has to intervene. We have to say this. Well, this is the first. And people who make such horrible things, maybe they are not acknowledging what they are doing. I suppose that these people, they don't believe in the real presence of Christ. So they think this is wine, or not in the transubstantiation. Maybe they think Christ is only present during the moment of communion, as Luther did. So, or they have Lutheran or Calvinist thinking of Eucharist, and so they would be understandable then, because these same do the Protestants. They throw away the wine and so on, the host, because they are not believing on the continuous presence of Christ under the species, Eucharistic species. So it could be one explanation. I hope that they are not the motivation to make sacrilegious acts. I don't know. In this case, there is no automatic excommunication when there is no intention to make a sacrilegious act. There is no excommunication when there is no intention to make, I repeat, sacrilegious act. Throw away with an intention of to make a profanation. And yes, we have to stop this and to seek that this should be finished, this profanation. And the other way, as you asked, the communion under both bases, it is, to my knowledge, very spread in the United States. In Europe, not so much, thanks be to God, or in some groups. It is, now we have to state the effects, the results. What brought this practice? To my knowledge, it brought a more negative effect because of the danger of the profanation of the Blessed Sacrament. So we expose our Lord to an extreme possibility, a very probability to profanation. And when the Holy Eucharist is the greatest treasure and the most sacred which we possess here on earth, the Church, we cannot expose our Lord to such a extreme danger of profanation as is the praxis of the communion on the both bases, especially to give people to drink, and then sometimes there are lost drops of precious blood. And even so, the form, it is becoming a very banal form to drink, in some way like we drink on the table, profane drink. It could bring this. So, and then there come a lot of so-called extraordinary ministers to give the chalice. And sometimes you have the impression this is really a cafeteria service. So it is completely destroying the sense and the atmosphere of sacredness and sublimity in this moment. So I think it was demonstrated that it brought more a negative effect than a positive, this so-called praxis under both kind of drinking with the chalice. There is another form that is better to give Holy Communion under both bases, is by intinction. So the priest can intinct the Holy Host, and then give this. I think this could be a manner which is meaningful when there is a pattern or a cloth to prevent the loss of the drop.
And it has to be the priest that does the intinction. It cannot be the faithful.
No, it has to be the priest. The faithful cannot do this. This is prohibited by the Church with the Documento Redemptionis Sacramentum, so it is prohibited. It has to do the priest or the deacon. So this way it could be a manner to substitute this form by drinking directly by chalice, by intinction, which the priest or the deacon can hold the ciborium and the priest the chalice and then intinct it carefully. So it is possible, yes.